Hi, PyOhio. My name is Mario, and this talk is titled hmm, Add RSS to my website with Python? Yes! Some of you might know me from Twitter. I go by the handle Python by Night, though most of you probably don't, and that's okay. I'm here to talk about RSS. It's really simple syndication. Some of you young whippersnappers out there might not realize that RSS has been out for over 23 years, and you may ask yourselves, should I add RSS to my website? The answer is yes. How did I do that on my blog, Python by Night? Took a couple of steps. The first was to find that specification. Now I knew I had to build an XML, but what does that XML look like? The rssboard.org site has all that information and more. The required channel elements, optional elements, and most importantly, a sample file to give you an idea of what you're building. At its simplest, you could build a XML file that looks like this. The channel element contains your website name, the URL, a description, and each item should be a list of your latest creations. Now, I wanted to be dynamic, so I used Jinja templates to generate that XML, and I needed to fetch that data from my database and provide it to the template through the template context. This is what my template looks like. I'll talk about that first line, which is a macro, in a minute. The XML that is generated looks like this. I'll draw attention to line 8 and 10, which have some dynamic data. Now, the description should be a site description, so that could be static. I decided to leave that in my Python settings so I could change it at will. The publication date there also should match the time that your RSS feed was updated, so I made it match my most recent article. And the macro up at the very top in line 1, this is where we are using it. This is how we loop through our list of articles and create the bit of XML that goes here. Now, what does that macro looks like? Well, it takes that dynamic data and it loops through all my articles. Each one of those is a dictionary element that contains my title, slug, description, and publication date. So you can see by getting that information, I can now build that bit of XML code each time for each article that we are looping through. So step 4 was to create a route, of course, with my chosen framework. I use FastAPI and make a database call, send that data to a template, and magic. Not really. We just saw how that works, but feels like it. This is what that route looks like. You will note the first few lines there, just making some calls to the modules, importing some things as needed. Line 5 is how FastAPI is able to create a template response. Here we're defining a function, what happens when a user goes to my RSS feed. Here I'm making the database call. I use the Beanie library to make a call to my MongoDB database where all my articles are stored. Here I'm finding all my published articles and sorting them by descending order. And my RSS channel pub date should match the pub date of my most recent article. This is how FastAPI sends that template response. Again, the main thing to see here are the 3 variables I'm sending through. The line 23 is a list of all my RSS articles, each one of them being a dictionary element. Again, just for reference, here's that same RSS feed file we saw earlier. That's the macro there. This is the XML that will be generated. Here you see the meta description. Again, I'm getting that from my settings file. You have the RSS channel publication date, and you have the macro that we were talking about earlier. And if I've done everything correctly, I should be able to go to this website and voila, there is the XML that I was able to create with my templates. If you use a Python backend and are using templates already, this should be something you can do. I hope you found it useful, and I look forward to hearing any comments or questions you may have. Thanks for listening.